Sit down there, Sonny. Uncle Rye's gonna read to you. This is something I wrote. I don't know why I wrote it, because the kind of people who are going to read it, the kind of people who actually read things, aren't really the ones that need to hear it the most. So, I'm making this video version of it now. You can pass it around to your liberal friends, please. Please, please do give it to them. I really am losing faith in my fellow man. I mean, the degree of idiocy is beyond me. It's not clearly just like people are stupid or smart either. I mean, some people are smart, and yet when it comes to certain topics or something, they got these blinders, just like a religious cult. I mean, it's like they picked a team when they were a kid, and man, they're just sticking to it no matter what, and they filter all their information in to fit their, predestined conclusion. So one of these things I like to talk about, which I also wrote about in a book, is false dichotomies. And a false dichotomy, the most common one would be left versus right kind of thing. Look, we've got two wings of imperialism. That's what we really have. Right or left, doesn't matter. Do you want a multinational attack or a unilateral attack? Whatever. So another false dichotomy is what I wrote about. And now Uncle Rye is going to read for you. Look at a picture or something. It is a false dichotomy to assume that one has to pick between big government and big corporations. It's the government that enables corporate fascism more than anything. But liberals are so stupid that they see the government as a check rather than an enabler on big business corruption. So people ignorantly assume that if Ron Paul is going to be fighting big government, that he must just want unchecked corporatism. This is the level of stupidity that we are dealing with. There are others, however, that espouse a deep prejudice that Paul is not running as an independent. Just ignore the reality of how hard, or rather how nearly impossible it is to get on the ballot, and how he would be excluded from the debates where he is presently shaking things up if he was an independent. That's a real wonderful philosophy, morons. He has an R next to his name, thus forget about his record and his actions. He doesn't have the acceptable label. That makes you just as bad as the Republicrats. If he didn't have an R, he'd say, oh well, he has no chance, wasted vote, blah blah blah. The other set of losers cry about voting and declare that because people can cheat, you should just give up and not vote at all. Yes, there is corruption in some voting machines. So that doesn't mean you should just not vote and hand it over to the establishment. Always force a dictatorship to act like one. Some places do have paper trails, and the more they have to cheat, the more they have to risk, and the easier it is to at least have a chance at busting them. Whereas sitting on your thumbs and doing nothing does absolutely nothing. Ron Paul would end foreign aid, which is a feedback loop on the U.S. arms industry. He would also cut direct subsidies, end bailouts, pull the government tit out of Monsanto's mouth, legalize hemp for paper and other products, allow people to cross state lines to buy insurance, get the government out of higher education, which is also a business, and enforce the Constitution and property rights. Moreover, he stands for sound money. Your cost of living would drop dramatically under Ron Paul. But a liberal turd hears the word deregulation and thinks, oh, that just means they can do whatever they want. I mean, where do you even start with people like that? So lost. I don't have the energy or time to keep repeating myself and unwinding the classic arguments of stupid that I hear against Ron Paul. My favorite is perhaps the panic-stricken kooks who even try to say that he's a racist, or anti-Semitic, or anti-homosexual. Ron Paul is the only candidate running, Republican or Democrat, who does not oppose same-sex marriage. He's the only one that does not advocate ongoing wars murdering millions of brown people. And the old argument that you're an anti-Semite unless you support illegal military occupation falls flat on its face. Peace, trade, liberty, prosperity, sound money, constitutional government. Ron Paul. Ron Paul is not a racist, he's not homophobic, and he's not an anti-Semite. If anyone's prejudiced, it's all the other candidates. They're openly bigots toward Muslims. They openly support apartheid and murdering millions of people for no reason. And they all oppose gay marriage. I mean, they're all of the above. They're everything you accuse Ron Paul of. And they're the biggest corporatists on earth. No one is a larger corporate fascist than Obama. He spent trillions of dollars on bailouts, trillions on stimulus package. They might as well just call him Goldman Sachs' whipping boy. All he does is grab his ankles for corporations. You're not going to see any difference between a Perry or Romney, especially Romney. They are corporate fascists. And big government, the government is a corporation in a sense. It's like a conduit. It's a way to have access to your money to funnel it into corporations. It is the ATM machine. It is the nexus of fascism. They couldn't directly rip you off without it. The Fed is another nexus. And Ron Paul would axe them both. Deregulation does not mean carte blanche corporatism. Learn about Austrian economics. Learn about free markets. Get a clue. And ending the war is not just some isolated thing with foreign policy. Trillions of our dollars that are being spent on this crap is affecting our domestic economy. When you waste hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars on something, no matter where it is, you lost the money. Bring our troops home. Stand up for the Constitution. Put America first, second, and third. We don't need to be torturing people. We don't need to be propping up dictators. We don't need to be occupying people. We don't need to be running the heroin drug trade. We don't need to be supporting the apartheid state of Israel. We don't need to listen to them at all. They're a worthless parasite country. They depend on us economically and militarily. We get nothing from them in return other than demands. Kick them to the curb. We don't need it. We don't need all these dependents. None. Peace, freedom, and liberty is prosperity. And Ron Paul is the best choice.